What is going on, everybody? Here it is. I'm so excited.
This is so exciting!
Today is our first 2021 F1 Diecast review. And who will the driver be for our first review? I really couldn't decide who to pick as our first Diecast 2 review. But eventually I did, and not too long ago I posted a poll, and I gave you guys a hint. My hint was, I've reviewed many of his cars before. Now who could that be? Some of you guys guessed it right. Some of you guys said Daniel Kvyat, which he doesn't actually have a ride for 2021, so it literally can't be that. But I wish it was true, but it isn't. So who is it? Who is the driver that we will be looking at today, pretending that you guys didn't see the thumbnail, didn't see the title of the video, didn't see the end of my collection video where I literally showed it. Who is the driver? Sebastian Vettel. Yes, it's going to be Sebastian Vettel. Now, because Sebastian Vettel drove for Ferrari for a number of years, clearly, and Barago made the Ferrari cars, and also that weird-ass freaking Red Bull one, I have accumulated quite a few Sebastian Vettel diecasts. I have 7 on the table right now, and for our first 2021 review, I will be looking at the 2021 Aston Martin AMR21, and this will make 8 Sebastian Vettel diecasts. Actually, the most diecasts I have for one single driver. You'd think it would be Kvyat, but it isn't, because, you know, Barago only ever made one. Since I had so many Sebastian Vettels, I figured I would continue the tradition of reviewing his cars, because it's something that I didn't even notice I had. I didn't notice I had so many Sebastian Vettels. And I feel like if I didn't continue the tradition of looking at his cars, it would be something that it would make me sad. It would make me sad once the tradition was over. So that's why we are looking at Sebastian Vettel today. Now, I get questions like this all the time. Where do I buy the cars? Because I usually forget to say, I got this car on eBay. I don't remember the seller, really. I didn't get this off a particular diecast seller's website. Spark diecasts are kind of varying in price these days. Sometimes they're the regular $80. Sometimes I can't find them for like less than $99. And sometimes I can find them cheaper than $80. So it's kind of weird how the price is kind of fluctuating like that. But yeah, so I can't really tell you where you're going to be able to find this one for what price, but you know, that's the way it goes. I'm very excited about this car though, but we'll talk more about all that when we get it off the base. You can see the tape is kind of already peeled because I already took the pictures for the last video, so Let's get it off the base. Guess what? I forgot a screwdriver. It's just like every other video I've ever made. So let's get into it. And here it is, our first non-Ferrari Sebastian Vettel diecast. It's kind of a brand new team, Aston Martin. Of course, they were Racing Point and they were Force India and blah, 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 blah. But it's very cool to have basically a brand new livery on the grid. We've never had, at least in my time of watching F1, we really haven't had a green livery sort of like this. So it's cool. It's cool to see this. Of course, I want to do the best job at showing this car off, because I do get comments pretty frequently of people saying that they buy the cars because of these videos, or this car helps them make a decision. So I want to show it off the best I can. So I'm going to be doing pictures where I can or where I think it's necessary. I think that really helps with getting a close look at the car, because sometimes the video doesn't really focus. It doesn't really look that good in the moment, but a picture I can retake 1,000 times if I need to. So it's just better to show pictures. And obviously, if you are planning on buying this car, I would like to help you make that decision. Starting off with the front wing, we've got a ton of different sponsors. BWT is, I feel like that's the only sponsor that is returning from Racing Point last year. I'm probably totally wrong about that, but I don't really keep track of a lot of the little sponsors. Their title sponsor is Cognizant. I have no idea if I pronounced it correctly, and I have no idea what that is, but the people in the comment section usually do. Of course, Aston Martin. brand new title sponsor for this team. The front wing looks about as good as any other Spark diecast I have ever seen. There's not much to say about this, really. Here's another interesting part of the diecast around the front suspension. Of course, if you're new around here, there are two really high quality F1 model makers, Mini Champs and Spark. This is a Spark diecast, of course. It's not as good as the Mini Champs, but it's really, really close these days. I think suspension is one of the things that Mini Champs does a little bit better. I always like the way the Mini Champs carbon fiber looks, but this still looks pretty good. It's pretty sturdy, but not. It's still a model car. It's still gonna break if you give it a little bit of too much flex. Of course, we have the antennas right here. I won't touch them because I've broken them in the past because I'm an idiot. On the side here, I need to highlight this more often, but I really, really like the way tires look on these F1 diecasts. They look so realistic when you get a picture of them. I mean, it looks like a real tire, like freaking fresh off the track. I just really like the way that these tires look, so I need to highlight that more often. I have seen it in some of my videos, though, where I post pictures. I think it looks really good. Over here to the barge board area, I don't know how close this one looks to the Racing Point of last year. Of course, every car in 2021 is just essentially a B-spec of their 2020 car. I don't know how close this looks to the 2020 Challenger. And of course, this is from the Bahrain Grand Prix, so stuff like barge boards, rear wings, front wings, they could look totally different depending on what race they are at. I'll talk a little bit about the livery now. The green, and then we got this little bit of a pink stripe. I don't know about you guys. I like the green, but I was a little bit disappointed with how this livery turned out. But I don't really know what I was expecting. I mean, I guess it's not true. We also got those little darker green flares right there. I don't know. I liked Racing Point's livery in 2020, the all pink one. I mean, it's not my favorite livery on the grid. It certainly wasn't the best. And I know with Aston Martin, it's going to be green, but I don't know. I don't know what I expected, but it's not the best looking livery, I think. But I don't think it's bad. But I don't really like one color liveries. I like a little bit more something. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I really don't know. What do you guys think of the Aston Martin livery? Of course, we got number 5. This is Sebastian Vettel. He's having a pretty darn good season. So, he finished second twice. I don't know why he got disqualified in Hungary. I feel like it was stupid, but you know, he's had some good races, and I really would like to see Sebastian Vettel win again. A 4-time world champion who's had a couple of bad years. I would say he's had 3 bad years. Counting this one, I'd say 3, but I don't really know if you'd call this a bad year yet. He's sort of in the waning years of his career, and I think he's building Aston Martin up. But obviously, you know, they are a winning team. They're in the midfield, though. I feel like he could do a lot of good for this team before he decides to leave F1 in the next few years. Speaking of Sebastian Vettel, the driver, let's take a look at the driver detail. Yeah, there's not really much to say that I haven't already said. I really like the helmet. The helmet looks like a Racing Point car from last year. It looks like a Racing Point helmet. It's kind of almost weird the way it sticks out from the rest of the car, but I guess it is nice that it wasn't just a green helmet, so it just blended in with the rest of the car. Of course, there's detail on the steering wheel as well. It almost looks a little bit better. Usually the sticker is sort of peeling off a little bit. There's even a sponsor on the little windscreen, like that little tiny piece of plastic. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to show a picture of this. Holy crap, the amount of detail on these cars sometimes, it's crazy. The halo, which just saved Lewis Hamilton's life, actually doesn't look very good on this car because the winglet, it doesn't look like it's in the right spot because you can see black under where the winglet is clearly supposed to be. But other than that, the driver detail, it usually always amazes me because it's on such a small scale. It is very nice as always. Now to the rear wing, this hasn't changed all that much at all throughout the years of Spark Diecast. There's a lot of good detail with the exhaust and the light on the back and the what is that thing called? The rear diffuser. There aren't any sponsors in the rear wing besides, of course, Aston Martin on the back there, which is kind of interesting. I feel like most cars do. And we'll take a look at the rear suspension and the front of the rear wing now. Not looking too shabby, but also kind of just looking like all the other Spark diecasts I have. And of course, we'll go over to the floor. I haven't really shown the floor in the past because does anyone, I think I've said this before and no one said anything. Does anyone care about the floor? Like, it looks like shit. Like, who cares? The Spark floors, I don't know what's going on up here. I think this is actually I feel like there's honestly less detail on the floor now, because didn't Spark diecast used to have like carbon fiber detailing on the bottom? At least right here. I know this floor right here, I never really had it, but like, where'd it go? Like, I feel like it used to have the carbon fiber padding. I feel like it used to have the same pattern like it does right here. It doesn't have that on the floor right now, but who cares? Because it's the floor. Like I said before, if there's anyone who displays their F1 diecast like this with the floor out, I mean, that's fine, but like, you're stupid. But overall, pretty nice looking car. I will admit it's not my favorite livery on the season. The Alpine is a lot nicer with the blue. The AlphaTauri doesn't look bad. I mean, it's not my favorite livery on the season, but it's still nice to have this car in the diecast. It's nice to have another Sebastian Vettel diecast. But that's primarily the reason why I bought it, not because of the Aston Martin, but because of Sebastian Vettel, because I wanted to continue that tradition like I mentioned earlier. One last thing I'll say about this diecast is it's a glossy paint job. It doesn't look nearly as glossy as the Toro Rosso from a year ago, and I'm only saying this so I can compare it to something, because I always do that. This right here is still my favorite F1 diecast, the best one I have, I think. And I mean, it just doesn't shine like this one, but of course, the car in real life might not shine as this one either, so that's not really a knock on anything. Like I said, it literally is just so I can talk about this car. Have Daniel Kvyat in a video and also talk about and also do a comparison to another car, because I always like to do that. Also, this car is on the soft tire. I didn't mention that, and I don't think anyone really cares, but we can get that one out of here. And honestly, that's kind of all I have to say about this diecast. It is pretty nice. It's a pretty typical Spark diecast. I don't think, at least as of yet, I don't even know if there are any Mini Champs diecasts out yet. But of course, you definitely can't find an Aston Martin. I feel like you might be able to find like Haas and AlphaTauri, but Aston Martin you can't find anything for besides Spark. So as the year progresses, I'm sure that will change, but right now if you really want an Aston Martin, you gotta go with Spark, but that's alright because it's cheaper than a Mini Champs anyway. And I think that will do it for this first F1 diecast of 2021. It's a rad car. I mean, it's a very, very nice looking car. The livery isn't great, but, you know, for the diecast, I mean, that's not the diecast's fault. That's the guy who made the livery's fault. So that is all I have to say about Sebastian Vettel, Aston Martin, AMR21. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you look forward to more 21. I hope you look forward to more 2021 F1 diecasts. But I'll give you a hint, the next video is not going to be on a 2021 diecast. It's going to be on something from 2020. What will it be? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. Don't you hate it? Don't you hate it when people leave you on cliffhangers like that? Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.